strong.
Hello gamers, TreesapJake here with yet another video where I'll give you my unwarranted, unapologetic opinion on a World of Warcraft subject I feel passionate about. In my last video, I pretty much professed my love for the endgame content of WoW, but that doesn't mean I like where it is currently. You can love to eat donuts, but if they start adding shit instead of chocolate or jam, we're gonna have problems. So, that's why I'm offering the top 5 changes that would make PvP and Arena in general better for the average player, in my opinion. Number 5, Focused Chaos Nerf. Now, I know you are all probably guessing that some sort of Warlock nerf idea was coming, and as someone who's played Warlock a lot in my downtime, I can entirely see how noob friendly it is just to drop Infernals, press wall and start blasting. I've seen a few comments on Twitter from pro players after the recent Soul Leech nerf that dealing with rank 3 experience in PvP would be better, and I obviously agree, but there's a reason why I'm not listing it here, and you'll find out about that later on. If you look at any of the damage meters after a game against a Warlock, you'll find that Infernal Immolation and Chaos Bolts top the list. In fact, more often than not, they're just as strong, if not stronger, than a full 9 gushing Demon Hunter. Now, I know it's happening in Shadowlands, and that's great, but if I could choose for it to happen now, even just a little bit, even just 5 to 10%, that focused Chaos nerf on Destruction Warlocks would make them still playable, but wouldn't one-shot you in the same capacity. More importantly, it also wouldn't affect the viability of Affliction or Demonology either, by slamming into ground those shared general abilities that all 3 specs delight in. I honestly think it would be a welcome change, and would still make them viable in the current patch. Of course, if in doubt, just line the bolts, dude. Number 4, Demon Hunter's Leech. Hi, Mr. Illidan, sir. How did you hit me so frickin' hard? I am my corruptions. I think it would be pretty accurate to assume that when people want to nerf Demon Hunters, from all the pugs that I've played in, and with my friends, they want their damage to be ground into the Earth's crust. And honestly, having played with and against Demon Hunters, many of whom have popped me in one go, I don't think their damage is the issue at all, but rather that passive leech they get from their demon form and from the soul-rending talent. I can think of many occasions where Demon Hunters are almost unkillable with the healer's input, with their own self-healing ticking alongside with their high damage. On top of their mobility, this is painful to handle, let alone discover an outplay beyond stunning them outside of meta. With a reduction of this leech in PvP, the high burst mobility will need to be used with less wanton carelessness, but instead planned and appropriate like everyone else. With 2 abilities that naturally either avoid physical damage or any damage at all, hello meta, Demon Hunters are already in a good place, and this change I doubt would affect the class's main mechanics. Number 3, Vitality Conduit in Dampening. Despite the name, this Heart of Azeroth essence neither gives me life nor provides me with a conduit for happiness. In truth, this is one of the most infuriating essences known to man, and I believe many will be happy to see it gone. However, I love the concept behind it, and I think it would work super well if it was just put on the dampening spectrum. Imagine having an incredibly tough fight where both you and your enemy are low on health, struggling against overwhelming odds, outplaying your opponents entirely, only for them to dip back up to half and then full again from the press of a single button. Well, that's Vitality Conduit for you, and yes, it's a hellhole and it's extremely frustrating. I think the quickest and easiest fix would be to have it sit on dampening, just like any other spell that affects healing. Obviously, the recent nerfs have made a little bit of a difference, and that's great. But it's still extremely decent for stabilizing your team, even deep in dampening, and that's just taking the piss really. Number 2, PvP vendor offering 475 gear. If the number 1 slot wasn't so important to me, I think this would have been the top fix, but for the minute it's not. In this patch, gearing anything is worse a grind than Classic's 1 to 60 leveling experience, and that's because you need the right stats and the right item level. You could be playing with 410 boots that have a socket, not replacing them for ages due to the stat bonuses, which is insane. So what do you do instead? Well, you have to spam Mythic Plus with the off chance out of a selection of 9 to 10 items that you'll get the right one with the right stats. Not only that, only 3 of you, or 2 if you fail, get loot if you do a key. This just equates to more time doing the same dungeons over and over again, with only your Mythic Plus chest at the start of the week offering you 475 gear if you completed a 15 key. The same obviously applies to Nihilotha, but getting funneled gear requires friends, and let's face it, we have none. With anything in this dear life that we lead, slamming your head continually into it doesn't make the brick wall disappear any quicker, it just hurts real bad. So, a great solution would be a dedicated way to get 475 pieces in PvP without having to be Gladiator level plus. It's actually insane to me that if you want to dedicate your time to PvP, you have to be the highest rank possible to get access to the best gear. It might as well be World of Warcraft. However, I get it, a bad tradesman always blames his tools, but in this patch for example, Gushing Wounds does more damage on a higher item level piece. That's already an obvious gate for higher damage that is exclusive to Mythic tier raiders and Gladiator PvPers. All in all, I can't wait for Shadowlands Vendor, and neither should you. And now the one you've all been waiting for. Number 1, stacking corruptions. For me, if there is one change that would make Arena and PvP better, and enjoyable more than anything, would be to make stacking the same corruptions in PvP not work. I actually enjoy corruptions. I think they changed up an arguably stale end to an expansion. However, stacking Versatile rank 3 or Expedient rank 3 is ridiculous, or even Gushing Wounds that makes your damage skyrocket with ease. By not allowing these to stack, you won't have Demon Hunters proccing huge gushings on you where you explode in a matter of seconds, with 30% of their damage done being an unavoidable tick. Instead, players will need to figure out how to combine what they have to maximize the potential of their class. For example, would it be better to have 3 different tentacle ranks to proc a stronger tentacle that forces your enemy to focus and add in that moment? Or to go for more defense with Versatile as your class is weaker? If you combine maybe an Expedient rank 3 with a Racing Pulse to try and push out a sudden speedy cast, would that offer the edge that you need during combat? The damage would be controlled, but also so would our ability to tank, so that the games aren't too long into dampening, but players can still smash others if they play well. It would be so great and so nice to know that you won because of an outplay, a better strategy, or by pressing the right buttons at the right time, than just unbelievable damage or tankiness. Obviously, there are a ton of other changes that would make life in the game far more easier, and that's great, but these are the ones that stood out for me. Am I biased? Of course I am. Who isn't? But these are the ones that matter the most to me. Let me know if you agree with my choices in the comment sections. Tell me how wrong I am or how right I am, I'd love to hear it. But also, don't forget to stormbolt the crap out the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. See you next time.